Okay, so first of all, interacting with Archie. The way this works is that Cochrane is one of the author support tools, which I don't think we're using the term cast all that much anymore, but Cochrane author support tools which enable Cochrane authors to conduct reviews. The main tool, of course, is Covidence for fairly standard intervention reviews. EPPI Reviewer is in the mix for doing more complex reviews, looking at complex interventions, non-intervention reviews and the like. There may be more to come. The way that the Cochrane system has been designed is to be quite extensible in that you can see on the left here we've got the Cochrane central system consisting of Archie, RevMan, the CRSD, the reviews database potentially, and other central systems which can connect to other systems out here on the right through what's called an API, so they can sort of communicate behind the scenes. And that means that the data that you can input into EPPI Reviewer, and this is currently in production or currently being developed, can be then sort of moved behind the scenes between EPPI Reviewer and the emerging Cochrane systems, so that there's quite a seamless transition there. At the moment, we can log in using Archie accounts or EPPI Reviewer accounts, and I don't know if that's a very interesting demo, but I can show you how to do it for those of you who haven't. This is the EPPI Reviewer login screen here that's hopefully now appeared on your screens. For Cochrane authors, you can see it. So for Cochrane authors, click here. So if I click here, I can log in via Archie. And so it kindly remembers my Archie ID here. I can log in. Archie says, are you sure? This is a fairly standard check that when you're using your credentials to log into another system, it wants to check that you're happy with what you're doing, so accept that, and it will then pass me back to EPPI Reviewer and I can log in. I've got, having been on EPPI Reviewer a long time, I've got a lot of systematic reviews in EPPI Reviewer, and I also have my 2 Archie reviews here that I can log into: smoking cessation in pregnancy and review about asthma in children and adolescents. So I'm currently logged in using my Archie credentials, but I've got full access to my reviews both in EPPI Reviewer and my Archie reviews. And because I've linked my EPPI Reviewer and my Archie accounts, it means that I can log in with either and essentially use the system in the same way, regardless of which login I've used to log in. I think, is that a question, Chris? Is that something that I should look at?
It's to do with what we're talking about at the moment. So yeah, Nathan's asking, it mentions that many web apps have a logout feature, but EPPI doesn't. Is there a particular, is that correct, I guess? And is there a particular kind of rationale for why that is?
It's just to save space on the screen, really. Every now and again, people have asked about a logout button. The reason is that EPPI Reviewer, when you're logged into EPPI Reviewer, is regularly contacting the server to say I'm still logged in and I've still got a valid login, what's called login ticket. And so, for example, if I close the screen here now, like I did just then, I'm now effectively logged out of EPPI Reviewer. There's no way anybody or even myself can get back into that session of EPPI Reviewer without logging in again. So if effectively closing the browser, it logs you right out of the system. It's not like sort of like a web page where sometimes it remembers your credentials, and if you go back to the page, it remembers that you're still logged in. If you close the page, that's it. You're logged out, and there's no possibility that anybody, coming up to your computer afterwards, after you, for example, can log into it. So it's kind of unnecessary, which is why we've not got it there. But we are wondering about adding one, just because it just gives people confidence, I guess. But there's no technical or security need to have one.
Okay, so yeah, I think so. Well, Nathan's saying thanks. That's a reassuring explanation. So thanks, James. Yeah, that's it for questions for the moment.
Okay, so I know that there are a number of items that we're covering today, so this is going to be a fairly whistle-stop tour. Are there any other questions on the logging in and the interaction between and using our Archie credentials? If there are, then we can take them now. What I should say at the moment is when you're logged in using your, I'll bring this back here, your Archie, or if you've logged in using your Archie account and you can see your Archie reviews like I you can see that I've got the option here to check out this review here, or I can open the review here, which I've already checked out on smoking cessation in pregnancy. What that does is it's effectively the same as when you check out the review in RevMan, which but at the moment there's no data that's moved backwards and forwards when you check in and check out. So when I undo my check, all I can do is undo the checkout at the moment. It doesn't upload data back up to Archie. I think that what's called the API, the connection that we're going to be able to use to talk between EPPI Reviewer and Archie, is just about ready for use. It's something that the IKMD team have been working on over the last few months. So we'll be bringing that in as soon as we can. At the moment, we've been sort of working on some offline solutions where we can move data into the RevMan XML file, so the RevMan file that you can download. But what we'd like to be able to do is have things moving backwards and forwards behind the scenes, so that there's no messing around with text files that we need to do. But as I say, that's not in yet. That's on its way in the next few months.